Good day. This is the Elliott Wave weekly update for the NASDAQ 100, being recorded on Saturday, October the 12th, 2024. And I'm starting here in the cash market, and I'm out on the 5-year, or actually 3-year weekly chart. So here is our biggest picture that I'm counting, and it starts actually, we're inside of a primary fifth wave up. That primary fifth wave began in October of 2022. So that is now 2 years. This is 2 years in the making. And I believe that we may be getting up towards that, well, I hate to say it, but possibly 3/4. So we have maybe another quarter to do. And so let's kind of dive in. And primary wave 5 will consist of 5 waves of intermediate degree, of which 1 and 2 are done and have been done. But inside of intermediate wave 3, there are 5 waves of minor degree. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yes, I am marking that the August lows did complete minor wave 4. Now that alternate that has kind of hung out there for a while, and I ran it for a while, it does remain because the market kind of keeps getting stuck, but it's making slow progress. And my feeling is it's like where we are in this process, we should get a decent push through all of this. And that would definitely fill in all the bases of going like, are we going to or are we not going to? So the market just finds some reason to just push on up and through. And it could be hanging their hat on earnings, which now should begin. There's still remaining enough negative things out there could toss the cookies and bring it back down the other way. That for sure can still happen. But I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at basically how they're moving things around within the other indicators, like within the flows, as I call them, where the money is moving from and to, what the outlook is coming from the Fed, what the different things are, how they're lining up, what does the economy look like, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what can stand there and blow the whole thing out of the water, of course, is here in the United States, we have a major election on November the 5th. So that is less than a month away. And so we're in the final stretch in not just a federal election, but we have state elections. And then we have city elections and municipal elections, the smaller counties and the cities. So this is a big, big election going from the ground all the way up to the White House. And so a lot of things are going to be known, and there's a lot of activity leading up to that. So I think we could remain a little bit on the volatile side. So we'll be able to show, but that volatility plays in both directions. If somebody's like getting pushed and we start, and well, let me back up 1 second. So when we start getting pushed, and what I mean by that is that the particular levels, like the volatility triggers, the call walls, the put walls, those are getting shifted around. And that's all due to this volatility that's coming in because we have a lot of different forces all at work at the same time. We have the government, the federal government in particular, really coming under attack because we have a lot of natural disasters with the hurricanes that we've had here in the US. And so there's just too much going on. So the volatility is there as one comes in and gangs on the other, and then it clears and we get kind of a path to go forward again. So while I'm leaving open the potential that the market could turn, and again, there's enough out there geopolitically, politically, and of course, just economically. The economic one seems to be easing a little bit. Now, if we get some decent earnings reports, particularly from the larger corporations, that they're not kind of, that they're functioning on all bearings, so to speak, and everything's going along just fine. Those companies, of course, as they would be expected to, any type of a downturn, because according to the Elliott wave, once we're finished with intermediate wave 3, and I'm going to get into that in 2 seconds, then we're going to be looking at an intermediate fourth wave. And once again, here in the NASDAQ, I suspect that we will get up in the cash market upwards of up 22,000 in the cash to complete the intermediate third wave. And so the road there is going to be fast, woolly, crazy. It's fifth wave-ish all the way down the line. We're going to eventually get there. until we get to the third and come back. Now, the intermediate fourth wave, so let's just say we do get up to 22,000, that the intermediate fourth wave would then be expected to drop us back down to 17,000. And I laugh because it seems like we can get away from that level. But again, I'm laughing because it should be really good trading coming off as well, right? So another point that I kind of want to make here is that as a trader, I cannot get attached so hard to like a move up to move down and you can go on length of time, but I think even if you're doing that, because even though I'm looking for an intermediate fourth wave correction, what follows is an intermediate fifth wave back up to new all-time highs. No matter where they come in now, they should be exceeded. So there's a lot of things going on that should produce one move, and then a shift comes and we get the other move, which takes us back up. Now, when we're done there, that's an intermediate fifth wave up, and then that will then be completing not only intermediate wave 5, but primary wave 5. And then I can go one up. So, but again, if we're just looking at the time factor, primary wave 5 has now been in motion for 2 years. Its ultimate top may come, well, obviously, I do believe it will come in 2025. I don't think that we're necessarily, I think we have an intermediate fourth wave, sure. But that's just bringing us back down to this level here. And then we go up again. So I'm trying to piece together the largest picture I have. Time-wise, we're out into 2025. So I think we still have a larger decline to come, but we got to finish it by getting ourselves from 20,000 back above and probably up to 22,000. So we still have a couple thousand points between friends to get ourselves up there. Now, weekly chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, right. Minor wave 4. Let's bring it down. I'm going to bring it down to the daily chart, and then we can start to see inside. So there's minor wave 4, minute 1 of minor 5, minute 2 of minor 5. So we're inside minute wave 3 of minor wave 5. Minute wave 3 will consist of 5 waves of minuet degree of 1 and 2 are done. And now we break again as we start heading up, filling the thirds of the thirds of the thirds all the way up. So now we're down to one more where we're going to get up 20,448, maybe as high as 20,873. Once we start to break above this third wave high, the market may move a little bit more freely, A, because we've never been here before, and B, because it's like there has to be something that's showing that blue skies is where it's all at, because that's what it'll be like, just going straight up. But I'm suspecting that might come to finish this third. We come back down in a small 4. We go back up in a fifth to finish this third, come back down in a 4, go back up in a fifth to finish this fifth. So we have 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then to finish this 3. So we have, okay, so we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this 3, 4, 5 of this 3, 4, 5 of this 5. So these are stepping stones, and now we've got to fill in the other side of them. But they're all a part of a third wave. We're in a minute wave 3, and then we're in a minuet wave 3, and we're in a sub-minuet wave 3. So we should power. We should power a little bit more and get up into here. Kind of like what the Dow did on Friday. The Dow was up 400, but the NASDAQ had trouble just staying green. That roll should start to reverse. And there are reasons why. Maybe there'll be a decent report here in the NASDAQ that'll kind of give stuff a boost. Or we'll see money shift again. Don't forget, earnings season, also fourth quarter. So back to back, we get earnings and then a shift into what are we keeping, what are we not keeping. So a lot could be happening, will be happening. Let's go back down. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. I said the 4-hour. And start to look at the break in between all of that. So let me just open this up. So again, this is minor wave 4. And then we have minute 1, minute 2, minuet 1, 2. We got 1, 2, and this kind of does look Like maybe we get in the 3, and if we so, we get a little pullback. Either way, I think we get a little pullback. Maybe we start by coming up to here, we pull back, and then we come back up and maybe get to there, and that completes that whole cycle up to this line. But this one, because the wave 1 was pretty strong, wave 3 would be equal to wave 1 at 21,494. So that gives a lot of space to kind of pump right in here in terms of this third, up to here, and then a 4, and then a 5 to finish this third. And we could be up there. So things are coming in here. And now what could be an alternate? This still could be an A, a B, and we're working through a C wave coming up, and that would finish somewhere very close up into here, and then we start to tumble. So the one thing that does keep that alive is like we have decent rallies, but then they just kind of crap out, and then just, we go sideways. Now they'll say, oh, expiration, oh, this, oh, that, but I can continue to take it out of the 4 and bring it down to the 1 hour. And we're looking inside now. The cash, yes, we get the gaps, but they move, but then it sits, and then it moves, and then it sits. And breaking out of this would suggest that we just move. So a lot of what's happening is happening overnight. So let me finish up here with the NASDAQ and go over to the future, and then we'll be able to see it. So with the cash market, I meant to say before. So the 3 and the 4, we're looking at the 5. We have a lot of stuff. All of these are zones. When we get the clusters, it's likely going to be an area that's going to complete the 3, the 4, and the 5. Not up to this level, because these are the minor. Now the minor, that's just may provide us some resistance that finishes a 3 or part of a 5 here, to get the 3 and a 4, and then to get this whole third up to here, maybe. So we got a bit to go. And this is a cluster, and this is the next one. This is the one I think we can get to. I want to say more quickly, because we're filling in 3s, and that they should all include strength. Strength. And maybe this is where we get that strength inside this particular third. That gets us up to here in a 4 and gets us up to here to finish this third, or even higher. Now these green, those go along with the primary, because again, we're going to be looking for this to finish minor wave 5, intermediate wave 3. So again, here, so I'm looking for all of this 5th wave to finish between where we are and here. So into this zone. I'm looking, that's why it's cluttered. So it could, in that respect, it might feel choppy, but depending on what you're trading and how you're trading. But if we're just looking for levels, that's the whole cluster. So I think it could be choppy, move, and get a lot of, that we go up, we touch, we come back, we go up, we touch, come back. So that's a daily chart. And you can bring it all the way down to a 15-minute. You can see dot, 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 it comes back down. So we are seeing it. So slowly but surely it is getting up there. Let's go over and look at the futures market. It seems to be a little bit easier to check out because of that. The fact is that it trades longer. It trades for an hour after the cash closes, and then it trades for a good 8 hours before the cash reopens. So maybe it's 8, maybe not quite that much, but let me see if it's 6. And then we open at 9:30. It's actually more than 12. So here we are. Futures market, primary wave 5. 1, 2, intermediate wave 3. Same deal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in that minor 5th wave. Let's just take it down. Let's take a look at what that 4th wave looks like. So what are we putting into place? We're putting into place that, yes, that is the 4th wave. It was quick. It was sweet. It was profitable. And it looks like it did finish. Can I say with 100% certainty? I cannot. You see, we're still below that 3. And so if we're in a minor 5, we need to break above the high of minor 3, and we need to do it pretty quick. That high is at 21,213. It needs to get above it. We've got some points where it might get close, but we only have one that actually lets it go above it, but not by a whole lot. Actually, it doesn't. So we need to get above 21,213 and get this thing finished, to get even this third finished, which does measure up to 21,243. And that would be something. But that can happen more because it is the fifth wave of a larger move. I mean, even this minor degree started back in January of 2023. So this has been a year going on two, a year and 3/4 going on two in the making. The intermediate third. So bringing it back down. It's the possibility of this just buckling and tumbling back down. It's there. But to be honest, because of what I'm seeing happen, because of what I'm seeing, how things line up, because I hear the narrative and I see the seasonality patterns getting closer and closer to where they need to begin, or they should start to begin. And so the upside sneaks its way in, and we're seeing some of it as the money starts to shift. And we'll see, well, within the NASDAQ, we see Apple make a move one way or the other. We see the Mag 7 make a move one way or the other. We see a lot of the ETFs that really start to pick up. SMH will start to make a move because of one of the stocks or two of the stocks that are within it. So I think that capital is flowing around and being placed now. And I think we'll see more of that as, of course, we get to year end to finish the quarter, but also as we begin to get a stronger versus not so strong versus actually maybe weak forward guidance from a lot of the underlying companies. So lot to yet to be known. In the NASDAQ, they're kind of stuck. They are stuck. The market has been unable to really break above. I mean, it struggles to get to 20,500. It's now struggled twice. Gets there, comes all the way back down, got all the way up, came back down, but now is coming back up as if it wants to take it out and keep moving. That would be to its advantage. Now, failure continues to keep where we come back down, we go back here. Now, if we don't make it above here, then I have to, and we just start to turn lower and say, let's say we break 19,809, which would upset the apple cart for me, to be honest with you, because I'm thinking that, no, these levels should hold as a rally builds. If the rally fails, it's like, okay, then what was it to begin with? So and because I'm able to count fives going in the right direction, or going to the upside, my assumption is that that's how it will continue. So lots of resistance, different colors. So as I break it down on the 4-hour, there's the minor 4, we're in minor 5, minute 1, minute 2, we're in the minute wave 3 of minor 5. And then we have minuet wave 1 and 2. So we're in minuet wave 3 of minute wave 3 of the minor 5. So we're in a 3 of a 3. They both should go. Well, this one can't because it's over, but this should go. It's now got a little bit of a double push because it's the 3 inside of the 3 inside of the 3. How about that? So we should get a stronger push. Now you're seeing that how I arrive at why I'm thinking that the market needs to go. What if it doesn't? Well, then it's going to break these levels. And then I'm going to be looking for here, if this came back in, that this was still, an A wave, and this is a B wave, and this somehow is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working up and still putting in the fifth for a C, and we come tumbling down. The first level we're going to break again is 19,800. We'll go through it this time, likely pretty quick, with the passion. And if we're coming all the way down to here, it's just going to cut through all of this. If we're otherwise engaged in an ABC, we should come back and hold it. If this 2 still has one more down leg to go within it, then we got to go. But as I come down out of the rafters here, in terms of time, I'm bringing it down to the hourly chart. Now I can go in and look inside. There, minuet wave 1, minuet wave 2. Now we're coming back up in a 1-2, likely 1-2. See how clean that was? And then we rallied, but then we dropped. So because we didn't break that out, it could be A, B, come back down to a C before we go. That's one take. If this turns into one, and this was not real nice. This is kind of ugly. But if this is like an A and this is A, B, C, B, that gives us this one. Okay, because then we're looking at this being an A of minuet wave 2. This all being a B, and we're starting down. So it could be a little bit difficult for me because it's an ABC down. So that way I keep going like, well, it should go up. It should go up from here. That's an hourly. And I'm breaking it down. So most of the time, if I'm giving the big picture, we're not down here. This is the daily. So it's kind of, you know me, I'm a perfectionist. There I go. It's just, I'm going on what I see, but the minute to minute could give you something different. That's why I'm giving you all the sides now. And it's not that I'm leaning more. Trust me, it's like when they decide that they want to take it higher and it starts to break, it's clean. It's a clean get in because they're buying a larger amount. They're shifting a larger amount of money, whatever the situation is. Just say that it's happening. But on the same note, that when I see, and here's the deal. In the NASDAQ itself, it's a cap weighted index. So Apple has a fairly high, if not the highest, weighting in this index pretty much all the time. There are times when Microsoft gets to a point where it's like, oh, no, Microsoft takes over that pole position and they're the first. And then Apple would be second. But for right now, Apple remains up there at the top. So when we see these beautiful moves in Apple on either side, you know, plenty to trade, plenty to do if you just can play direction versus getting married to one side or the other. Options are trading, everything is going along very well. So the whole movement to me is if they're shifting capital out or in to Apple. We saw several times last week where they were shifting money out. And because they were done, the position worked, whatever, and they were moving on to the next position. We're reusing that money somewhere else. Doesn't mean that Apple's good or bad, just as what's going on. Because Apple continues to carry the weight that if the NASDAQ is going to go, Apple cannot be left behind. Even in the second position, it cannot be left behind. So the others are not, in my opinion, would not make up for Apple lagging or losing. It would be a drag, and it would drag the index and hold it choppy. All right, so bringing it back out. I actually do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a 1, 2. And so that's packing. I read somebody and they keep referring to a coiled spring, right? You got a spring that it's where like you see it coiled and you stick your battery in your mouse. So that's easy so that when you flip it past a certain level, it'll just pop out, not be stuck in this little tiny place that you can't get your finger under. Okay, same thing, coiled spring. When it's released, bing, it's going to push, it just goes. Well, our coiled spring is to the upside. We're not lining them up to go down. We're lining them up to go up. And that's why I've got it the way I've got it. And if I put it onto the 4-hour, then we've got all of these different levels. These are down to the tiny. So we got this to where a third could come to 688, a third could come to 918 in this tiny third. And if we're looking at, well, how's that going to affect this next third going up? Well, that next third going up is here, but I think that'll be exceeded. So it can take it up into here and complete together. 3 and a 3 together. And then we do a 4, except this one would be 3, 4, and a 5 on that color. So 3 possibly up to here, maybe a little bit higher. Come down in a 4, go back in a 5, and then we're going to be finishing up this third. And they could do it here. This third, we can do it here, but likely all the way up. So you see the coiled spring. These are there because that's just the way the fib is. But if we're looking at this type of a scenario, then you have to think that, well, look how big 1 is. So 3 would be equal to this one on a minute degree at 21,243. Well, not when this one finished at 20,005. So where do you have to go with that? Well, you go up to here and to here. So we have a lot of resistance, and we just got to take it step by step. It's going to be according to what is countable. And right now, here's a bunch of resistance. Here's another big window of resistance from 20,918 to 21,292, almost 21,300. It gets really congested from all the levels, right? That's the color. It's from all the levels, all the way out to here. Now, minor 5, based on this, see that? And even a little bit higher. 23,000, that's what I talked about before. So our upside is robust. We could have a very dynamic year end. Do I think we can grab and pull and push that hard? Well, yeah. But understand that back to that big picture, what are we finishing? We'd be finishing a third wave, an intermediate third wave. What does that then suggest? We're going to drop in an intermediate fourth wave. I'm going to end up again, like I laughed and said, back down here. Now, depending on how high it goes, then of course you put in your fibs. But fourth wave of one lesser degree, that's here. Intermediate, it's down to the minor. There it is, plain as day. So, doesn't seem we can get away from it, at least for right now. But that's just an intermediate 4, and then we get that intermediate 5. I'm going to finish it there. Next week, I'll try to have earnings stuff, and I put that together. But in terms of what's going to be coming out, I don't know right off the top of my head, but you can just go to Market Watch and go to Economic News. And they'll give you a clean list for next week and the week after, as a matter of fact. So that's going to be it for this particular update. The next daily update will be on Monday, October the 14th. I know a lot of people tell me, is the market's open? It's like, yeah, market's open. So we'll be here. And so the next update will be there. And the next weekly will be, of course, next Saturday. Have a great trading week.